Oh, I just thank you everyone for being here. My name is Christine Germain. I'm a co-rep with Sonia Sutherland. So thank you, Sonia, for being here. I'm so grateful we're working together on all of this. Um, and so grateful to have Deborah here. Thank you, Deborah, for doing this. This is an event that is sponsored by the region. Just quickly, Deborah is a Feldenkrais trainer, has been teaching in Feldenkrais training for over 28 years. Most of you probably know her. She's been in private practice over 33 years. She teaches and lectures a lot in person and online for Feldenkrais groups and other organizations. Out of a need to reduce the habitual tension in her face and jaw, she has used these processes for her own self-care and wants to share with you so that you can do the same. And I've met Deborah when I moved from Canada to California. I had met her for her pelvic floor series, pelvic health, which was really helpful. And I was lucky that I moved in a city where she lived. So yeah, I'm really honored to have you here. Thank you.
Oh, that's very sweet, Christine. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. So, it's really wonderful. I want to thank the region for opening up the workshop to everyone and being open to sharing. And the community needs, our whole world needs this so much. And I'm happy to work with Sonia and Christine. And I think Kwan did a little bit of work too. So he's the old Northern California rep.
And he's the
Um,
treasurer.
oh, he's the treasurer now. Great, great. So yeah, it's really great to be with you. I did have a lot of trouble planning this workshop more than usual because I keep getting distracted by the news and the awful things that are happening. And I really want to acknowledge that we're all in such a state of assault on our nervous systems with the first the virus, locusts, uh, people starving, and then we have now this violence and protesters and the government coming down with militarization of the police force and all of that. So that's really on my mind, and I just had a hard time. I kind of wondered, well, what's the point of doing Feldenkrais when all of this stuff is happening? And so I want to acknowledge that some of you may be really suffering from that. Maybe you have lost people with the virus or are dealing with loss of lots of things, income, socialization. And then I was trying to be positive and think about how Feldenkrais can really help us get more present in our bodies and be able to be more responsive and not reactive. And that we can bring comfort to ourselves. And if we can bring comfort to ourselves, then we can bring comfort to others too. So that helped me to go on. And yeah, it's a very, very rough time.
Is it okay
So,
to say
yeah,
something, Deborah?
I'm sorry.
Is it okay to have to say anything now, or do you want to just go through your talk?
I would like to just kind of go through this, and then at the end, we'll have time for comments and things like that. But if you feel like there's really something important that you want to say, not important, but
I do.
okay.
I would not have even barged in. And this brings me to tears. When Moshe was early teaching, it was during and after the Holocaust, and Europe was falling apart, and there were refugees, and there was so much awful stuff going on. And I think that in a way, this time now to have Feldenkrais and to be able to calm our nervous systems, we're actually meeting him. We're meeting him in the place from which he created, not in the bucolic, beautiful, peaceful California that we've known. But I think that as a resource, like, we talked that you don't do a movement to prepare to do a movement, but you move efficiently. I think that not reacting and being able to be present is such a huge gift. So I'm so glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Anina. Yeah, I thought a little bit about that too, because so many times in Alexander and I, right at the end of a lesson, he says something that's very big, like peace to Israel, may God bless us all. And there is that aspect of the generosity of spirit and feeling that we get from doing Feldenkrais. So thank you. Okay. So then I thought, well, what can we do for FI? That's about the face, and the face, how we face the world. And we have the phenomenology of the face, like what does it mean to have a face? It's our identity. You know, now, other than fingerprints, the face is being used as identification all the time. And we recognize each other from our faces, and a change in the face can really bring about a big change in one's identity. And then there's this self image of your face, the ability of the face to communicate, not just verbally, but a nonverbal communication with our face. And, you know, you see your friend and you can tell something big has gone on. You say, I can see it in your face. So the face has these effects that are all over, affect the whole tonus of the body. The face is the home of the teleceptors, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the ears. The face is involved with just basic survival functions, chewing and swallowing and eating and breathing. You need a face for all of that. If you don't have a face, you're going to have other kinds of tubes in you to get some of that done. And so the more that we can have a kind of neutrality to our face, the more choices and options we have for how we use our face for all of these things: expression, communication, eating, talking. And I guess that's all I really want to say about all of that right now. But that's why we're doing the face. And I did a workshop with Tiffany Sankari on Friday. Many of you, I think, were there. This will be different than that one. That one was on the face and mind mapping, learning how to mind map with an awareness of the movement of the face. And I'm doing a little promo for myself on Friday with Tiffany. We're doing a whole mind mapping 3-hour workshop, learning how to mind map. But today is more about FI, taking care of yourself, nurturing yourself. And what you'll need is a place to lie down, of course, with a pad if you like that, and a blanket perhaps if you feel like your temperature is going to get lower and you're going to get cold, a headrest. And, you know, we will be touching the face.
Here.
Thank you. So if you want to wash your hands now, we'll be doing things with the mouth and the eyes and stuff. I'm sure everyone's been washing their hands like crazy. There's a few people who are unmuted, I think. Want to try that again? Let's mute everybody and then unmute me. Okay, great. Can you hear me now? Yeah, okay, great. So one thing before we start, would everyone, if you feel like it, of course, would you put in the chat a little message about where you are in the world, your geographic location, and then what room are you in? Where are you in your house or in your barn or in your yard or your deck? So if you would all just write, go over to chat. If you look at the bottom, it has a little thing, chat. If you click on chat, the chat will become available to you, and it'll show up on the right-hand side of your screen, and then you can write stuff in there. There we go. So you can see that it's all coming up. Oakland, home office. Mill Valley, home office. Living room in Richmond. San Francisco. Sebastopol, my bedroom. San Francisco in my living room. Danville, home office. Living room of my apartment in Belmont. My little studio. And a new studio in Santa Cruz, a spare room in Oakland, Berkeley in my living room, Menlo Park, my office, Northern Virginia, San Rafael, Madrid, my bedroom, Kensington, home office. Brooklyn, my studio. Northern Virginia, in the office. Richmond, bedroom, but moving to the living room. Living room in my home in Auburn. Home office in Santa Fe. It's so interesting. I've done this before, and I had people who were in the closet, in the barn, all trying to kind of carve out a little space, right, where we can not be disturbed and have the time to do Feldenkrais. Okay. Great. So I think we're ready to go. So you want to have a place to lie down, your hands clean, as you would like, blanket if you need that, because when you do the face, there is a kind of drop in temperature. And then if you are not muted, if you could, I see a couple of people might not be muted. I hear some sounds. Just check if your microphone has the little slash through it that you're muted. There we go. Thank you. If you have questions during the lesson, you can put them in the chat. I'll try to be very clear with the directions so you can follow them. Hold off putting your questions until, you know, it goes on a little bit and it will become clear what we do. And, but if you're really confused with what the heck I'm saying, then just stick your question in there and I will give a direction that will help clarify that. All right, so I'll give you a moment to just get together and what you need and get your mat. And if you can, some of you can set your camera up so that I can see you as just hunky-dory for the teacher to be able to see everybody. But if you don't want to do that, it's totally fine too. There'll be enough people that I can browse around and see what's going on. And then the pets always end up coming to the class too. So we'll have some dog and cat visitors, I'm sure. Hopefully my cats will stay out and not make a lot of noise. So I'll teach the lesson and we'll give ourselves an FI. And then after that, there should be, you know, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that, 10 for comments and any discussion you'd like to have. Okay. So please lie on your back. And allow your arms and your legs to be comfortable. And if you prefer to have your legs bent or up, do that, or you can have your legs long. Throughout the lesson, please just change the position of your legs as you need to be comfortable. So today you are your own student, your own client, and you are your teacher and your practitioner. How long do you feel? What's the sense of length of your spine from the sacrum to the back of the head? And sense the widths. What is the width of your pelvis? The sense of width, not in an actual measurement, but the sense of width of your pelvis, the sense of width of your rib cage, the sense of width of the shoulders. What is the width of the face? What part of your face feels widest? If you could bring in some side pieces to your face, would they first touch your cheek or your jaw, your forehead, your temple? And now just sense the width of your eyes. the width of the nose, the width of the mouth. And now bring your attention to your hands and start to think of preparing your hands to touch, softening the hands. So bring your hands together and just interlace the hands and take them apart a few times, very softly, just putting them together, pulling them apart, feeling the sensation of the fingers touching the temperature of the hands, the dryness or dampness of your hands. And then make a few movements of just kind of caressing your own hands, just softening them, letting go of all of the work that you may have been involved with your hands for this morning or this afternoon, wherever you are. Just caressing the hands and feeling the palm of one hand with the fingertips of the other, and the changing over and feeling the other palm, awakening the incredible sensitivity in your hands that you'll bring to yourself. And then rest your hands wherever you'd like, on you, next to you. And now bring your attention to your tongue. Begin gently to let your tongue stick out and move down in the direction of the chin. So you gently protrude your tongue, very gently, softly, not pushing or straining, but just letting the tongue come out a little bit, but curve downward, so that as you open the mouth, the tongue kind of curves over the lower lip. How much does your jaw need to open for that to happen? Can you allow that movement, very soft, that there's no tension in the back of your neck? And when you pull the tongue back in, do the cheeks or the lips get caught between the teeth? Can you have a kind of softness and a spaciousness that as you pull the tongue in, there's no catching of your skin of the cheeks or the lips? And now bring your hands to touch the lower jaw, so you can, with your fingertips, kind of rest along the chin to the sides of the jaw, both hands. And now as you let the tongue come out, very gently assist the jaw opening. And then you assist the jaw closing, so that it's like the movement of the jaw itself becomes easier, so the tongue can just kind of fold outward, fold down over the lower lip. Breathing softly and gently. And thinking of the lips and the cheeks being very relaxed, very soft. Right, just helping the jaw to open a little bit. It doesn't have to open all the way for the tongue to come out a tiny bit. Just gently. And if you feel any clicking or noises in your jaw, can you make the jaw open less? Just a little bit. Just enough that your tongue, you can feel the tongue curve over the lower lip. Okay, good. And then let your hands come down. Stop the movement of the jaw and the tongue. And sense the space between your teeth. So if you can just tap your teeth together a little bit, and then keep them untapped where there's a little space between the teeth. So you're not squeezing the jaw closed. There's a little bit of opening. Now take your right hand and place it on your forehead and very gently roll your head to the left. So the right hand is going to just push the head to the left, and you can use your hand any way you'd like. The flat hand that we use, or curving around your forehead in any way so that the head can be passive, and you gently roll the head to the left and back, just to the middle. Now, as your head rolls to the left, I think that's the hand around, yes. Let the tongue go out as your head goes to the side. And then as you bring your head back, let your tongue kind of just gently come back in. So you push the head is passive, the neck is passive. You push the head to the side and the tongue kind of almost flows out. Then you bring the tongue back in as you bring your head back. What happens with your eyes? For a few movements, allow your eyes to follow the direction of turn. So as your head goes to the left and your tongue comes out, your eyes also go to the left. Just a few times, easy. And then do a few times with your eyes going towards the right. So you push the head to the left, your tongue goes out and comes back in the middle, but now your eyes look to the right. So they're opposite your turning. Very gently, simply. Okay, and bring your hand down, rest. And during the rest, you might notice just the sensation that you have in your face. Did you kind of activate any holding or stress? And just let the face, the tongue, the eyes, and even your hand be soft. And now bring your other hand to your forehead, your left hand to your forehead, and roll your head to the right, gently. Each time thinking that you can make your neck softer, easier, simpler, that it's completely a passive movement of the neck and the head. And when you have that established, then you can start to let the tongue gently fall out of the mouth. Just comes out thick, soft, and curves over the lower lip. And when you roll your head back to the middle, you draw the tongue gently back in, just enough that it needs to come in. And you repeat that a few times, softly, easily. And now notice what your eyes do. Can you let your eyes go in the direction of the turning? Each time it's simpler, easier. The eyes, the head turning, the tongue coming out. You come back to the middle, you bring your eyes to the middle, the head to the middle, and the tongue moves in. And now do a few movements with the eyes going in the opposite direction. Rolling your head, looking to the left as your head is pushed gently to the right. Okay. And now come back, let your hand come down, rest your face, your tongue, your mouth. Your legs can be long or bent. And also as we go through the lesson, if you need to change your position and lie on your side to rest, please do that. Now bring your left hand behind your neck. So behind the neck where you can feel and find the spinous processes behind your neck. So without, being invasive, just to be able to tell, like, there's the middle of your neck where the spinous processes are, the middle of the vertebra. And then you're going to go to the right side of that. So it's sort of like you're grabbing or touching, holding around the transverse processes of the cervical spine. And then you bring your right hand to your forehead. And as you're now going to roll your head to the right. So you pull the head with the right hand. And at the same time, with the left hand, you pull the vertebra so that the spinous process points to the left. The back of the head goes to the left, and the spinous processes go to the left. So very gently, connecting the movement of the forehead going to the right hand pulling, the left hand pulling and turning your cervical spine. And the spinous processes go with the back of the head. Just easy, simply. And with your left hand, you can kind of sometimes, like you would do with a client, you can feel a little higher up towards the occiput, and you can feel a little lower down towards T1. But you're not trying to move anything below T1. It's all just happening very gently with the cervical spine, rolling the cervical spine. And now take your right hand down and just do that only with the left hand. So you just roll your head very gently by rolling the cervical spine, moving the spinous processes the same way the back of your head is going. Good. Okay, and bring your hand down and pause. Now with your right hand behind your neck, so the right hand's going to find the same, become connected and aware of the middle of the cervical spine, and then just move your hand so your fingertips are to the left of your cervical spine, more in the area of the transverse processes, although you don't need to actually touch them or poke around. It's enough to kind of feel that whole area. Then the left hand's going to go on your head and pull your head to turn to the right, as the right hand helps to pull and roll the cervical spine a little bit. Very easy. And then, with your right hand, you can go up and down a little more towards the occiput. And if you feel a place that, it just feels so kind of stuck, go more lightly. Go more lightly, as if you are helping your client. You are. You're the client. Right, just gently giving that indication of movement from the occiput all the way down to the T1, C7, depending on your particular anatomy. It's a nice connected feeling. Okay, and bring your hands down. And very simply, without your hands on, just roll your head a little bit from one side to the other. Just letting your head roll. Feel that quality of the movement. And play around with your attention here now, so that as your head rolls to the right, think of the left side of your face. And as your head rolls to the left, think of the right side of your face. So it's like you're looking or pointing the nose to the right, but you're thinking of the left side of your face. And then you turn and point your nose to the left. Think of the right side of your face. And notice what your eyes do. Do you follow the direction of the movement, or do you follow the direction that your attention is in? And for yourself, do a few explorations of each. Rolling your head to the right, looking to the right, following the direction of movement. And rolling your head to the right and looking to the left, following the direction of attention. And it's a very different feeling. All right. And then let your head rest and bring it to what seems to be the middle for you. And bring your attention now to the jaw, but particularly under the jaw. So the jaw shape is like a V, right? The chin is the point of the V, and then the sides of the V go out back towards the ears. And with your fingertips underneath the jaw, start to feel that space under the jaw. It's where the tongue, the base of the tongue, the root of the tongue is, the hyoid bone, and just gently with your hands, feel that space. Is it soft? Is it hard? Can your breathing be very free, open, and easy as you feel underneath your jaw? You can kind of just move in, like let your hands kind of melt into those areas. Sometimes when I've had a lot of tension, which got me interested in this place, I would get cramps actually in this part of my tongue. Okay, so take your hands down for a moment and observe where your tongue is resting in the mouth. Can your tongue just rest so that there's no pushing anywhere? There's no pushing against the teeth or against the palate. The tongue can be very wide and flow to the sides of the teeth. You need that little space, the tapping space between the teeth. And bring your hands back now underneath the jaw and see what it feels like in the base of the tongue when your tongue is very relaxed, very wide. And then with your hands there, keeping your hands to feel, and you can do it with two hands, one on the right, one on the left, or one hand, whatever you'd like, or change over. And now press your tongue in different places. Press it behind the lower teeth. Feel what happens to the tightness under the jaw. Press it behind the upper teeth or on the palate. So that as you press the tongue, it's pretty firm pressing, but as you press the firm tongue that way, can you feel that the muscles get bigger, fatter, they bulge because they're contracting? And then when you let that contraction go, you might be able to even feel your fingers melt in a little deeper. And you can try close to the point of your chin, midway towards the ear, back towards the ear. And get acquainted with what happens for you when you do that. Can your breathing be free, even if you're pressing your tongue? Okay, and then let your hands come down and just breathe and rest and think of this width of the tongue, that when your tongue is relaxed, it's wide. It fills the whole space along the bottom of the mouth, flowing from the inside of the teeth on the right to the inside of the teeth on the left. What happens at the tip of your tongue? Without pressing. Okay, so now think of your ears. Can you sense where your ears are on the sides of your face? And bring both hands now to grab the tops of your ears, the tops pointing towards the top of your head, and start to just gently pull the ears towards the top of your head. Just pulling and finding a couple of different places where you can pull the ears up towards the top of your head. The thing about the face muscles is that they're attached to other muscles and to fascia. Some of them are attached to bone, but many of the facial muscles, the scalp muscles, are attached to each other. So we can also do things with the ears, pulling them up. And now bring your hands to the lobes and pull your ears down, gently pulling them down. Sometimes there are points in the ears that are quite sore, the acupuncture points of the ears. So you do whatever you'd like there. Just pulling the ears down. And then pulling behind the back of the ears, pulling them away from the face. Right, so you pull them backward. It's like really kind of a little bit of a stretching. The ears themselves are cartilage. They don't have muscles in them, but they're moved around by all the muscles of the scalp. Okay, and rest your arms a moment. And the ears are related to the inside of the mouth, right? There's the ears, tubes go in there. So we're going to make some sounds with the ears, and you're all by yourself at home, so you can have as much fun as you'd like with this. So now as you pull the ears up, you're going to pull the ears up, make a super high E sound. E! So like a E, a real screechy E, pull the ears up, lift them down, make another sound of screeching E sounds, high-pitched E sound as you pull your ears up. And as you do that, open the mouth a little bit to make the sound. Relax the tongue. Eek! Something like crazy like that. And think of the sound now in the top of your palate, that it's really up there in the top of the palate. Okay, you can stop that. I wish I could hear you all. And now pulling the earlobes down. And as you pull the earlobes down, make a very low ah. And think of the sound now resonating in the bottom of the jaw, the bottom of the tongue, this ah. And pulling the ears down, making a nice ah, low sound. I hear someone. And then make the sound, pull the ears backward now. And as you do that, make this ooh, ooh, it feels good actually, ooh. And think of that sound now kind of rounding inside the whole mouth, an ooh, rounding sound. The throat is relaxed. Good, very nice. Good, and bring your hands down, let your ears rest. Do you have that tapping space between the teeth? So there's no pressing, you're not pressing your tongue anywhere. And now bring your both hands to either side of your trachea so you can feel where the hyoid bone is under your jaw. Don't extend the neck though. Keep your spine long. You can bring your hands under there without lifting the chin. If you lift the chin, then you're compressing the back of your neck. So see if you can find a way to bring your hands in there. And then very gently, just make some of those same sounds and feel the vibration around your trachea. So the E, the oo, the ah, and feel the vibration that will help you find the trachea and find the area, the voice box. Making a few sounds. And now gently move your trachea from side to side, very gently. There's ligaments that hold it in place, and those ligaments get pulled by muscles, but just very gently moving the hyoid bone with your fingers a little side to side. Can your trachea slide around? I know I've worked with a lot of people who this area just does not move. The neck muscles are so tight, the jaw is so tight. So just gently, very simply, with the neck long, don't lift the chin, let the chin stay down. You can get your hands in there with your chin in a neutral place. Wonderful. Okay, that's enough of that. And bring that down. Bring your hands down. Sense the space in the mouth. The ease of breathing all the way through the back of the throat, down through the trachea, which is in the front, right? The esophagus is behind that, the swallowing. And as you're breathing now, think of breathing only into the right nostril. Don't block the other one, but just bring your attention now to breathing into the right nostril. How does that affect the awareness of the face or of the whole self? And now switch and breathe only into the left nostril. Of course, the other one is bringing in, the breath is coming in and exiting, but just thinking with your attention of the left air, the left side. Okay, and then rest. And now bring your attention to your lips, the upper lip and the lower lip. And with your hands, take your upper lip with your both hands and pull it gently and curl it up to touch your nose. You can even block off your nostrils with it, but just gently pulling the upper lip easy so that your teeth show. And you can pull from the center of the upper lip all the way to the sides, just really moving the lip, feeling the hand's ability to move this flexible part. You know, I often think of the lips like the end of a elephant's trunk, right? Incredible what they do with that. And we want to think that our lips are at the end of this really flexible system. How much of your nose does it cover? Can it cover the tip of your nose or the sides of the nose? Can you feel that sensation on the upper lip with the nose, a weird, unusual sensation? And now take the lower lip and do the same with your lower lip. Just pull it out, curve it down to touch your chin or in the direction of your chin gently. Don't hurt yourself. Be very soft. The sides of the lower lip, the middle of the lower lip, all being pulled down, curling, coming out, showing the lower teeth now. Can you feel that sensation on the lower lip where it touches the skin of your chin or your face? Okay. And now take your hands away. And with the lips being really soft like that, can you blow through your lips and make that raspberry sound? How can you make that kind of sound and get your lips fluttering away? How long do you flutter your lips with the air coming out? They really need to be soft. Okay, pause a moment. Think of softening your lips, and now interlace your hands and bring them behind your head. You can have your knees bent. For this, it might be a little easier for most people, but if they're long and you're comfortable, that's okay. And now blow the raspberry as you lift the head. So you lift your head with the help of your arms and you blow the raspberry out at the same time. And repeat that a few times, comfortably, easily. Does that help? Does the activation of the abdomen help with pushing the air out a little bit, help you with a little bit more power for exhalation? Some people will really be benefiting from that kind of exploration. And then keep your head down and take your hands out and again, and see what it's like now to blow the raspberry. Can your lips flutter? How long can they flutter back and forth? It's a basic singer warm up, and yet not so easy to do if you have tension in your mouth and jaw and lips or cheeks. Okay, and rest, please. And now keeping the lips closed, think of the cheeks. And can you puff your cheeks open with air? Right? Just holding the lips closed, puff them open with air. And as you do that, the air in there, can you still breathe? Have you blocked off your throat somehow? Can you breathe and be open with your breathing with the lips a little tighter, holding the air inside? And now use your hands to hold your lips together and put a little bit more air into your cheeks. So your hands hold them. So that's where pulling the lips out a little bit, you get something to grab onto. And then now move the air from one cheek to the other. Just kind of move it back and forth. All the things we've done as children, playing around with our mouths and air. And now can you move air between the teeth and the lips? Can you bring air all around? So the cheeks are out, and you also puff out the area above the upper lip and the lower lip. Great. And without your hands now, just let all the air come out for a moment. And then very gently, with the lips closed by themselves, you're going to fill with air in your cheeks again, and then kind of swish it all around from one cheek to the other, in front of the lips. But as you do it, pay attention that you can breathe, that you keep the throat very open. It's a very light movement. Right, as if you're swishing water, but you're swishing air. Okay, and now with your hands, just give a nice massagey kind of touch to your cheeks. Just kind of rubbing circles, your cheeks, your lips, under the nose, under the eyes. Just very gently, getting a lot of nice softness, smooshiness all around the face. The kind of face massage you would like to have. Okay, wonderful. And then now rest. And think of, as you're resting, just letting all of this softness just really be there. It kind of take a holographic kinesthetic picture of what it feels like, with space for the teeth, the tongue not pressing anywhere. All right, so let's move on. And now let's sense your mouth. How wide is your mouth from one corner to the other? And now pull the corners of your mouth wider, pulling them flat towards the ears, just from your cheek muscles, not with your hands, although that's an interesting experiment too. But just for this lesson, to move and use your muscles, the facial muscles, which are attached to other muscles in skin, use them to widen your mouth, and you make it really wide. And notice, can you widen that, or do you lift it up, or do you bring the corners down? The teeth are slightly apart. Can you feel something into the front of your ears as those muscles which are attached there, they kind of pull your ears a little bit as you widen the mouth? And now with your mouth wide, can you open and close it a little bit like a Muppet? This is the Muppet mouth. That's it. So you keep the cheeks wide, and you open and close the mouth. A nice Muppet way of talking. Okay, let that go, and now push the lips forward like a fish. Like really a big pucker up. Pushing the lips forward so the mouth narrows. And then letting go, really smooshing those lips forward. And then holding them forward and now opening and closing the lips. This is the old fish mouth. Or it's how chimpanzees often try to kiss you, right? When you see them making a kissing movement, it's these big lips forward, and it's like a big, juicy fish kiss. Okay, and stop that. Let the mouth rest. And now, we all know how to make these little air kisses, right? Little kissings in the air. And now, can you make a few very, very light air kisses with maybe a little tiny kiss sound? Just very easy. And take the back of one of your hands, either one, whatever you'd like, and start to make these light kissings to the back of your hand. Feel how incredibly soft the lips are to kiss the back of your hand. And I notice many of you, when you kiss, it kind of pushes the hand away a little bit, right? There's that movement when you're very responsive. And then can you kiss your other hand just very gently to feel all of that movement of the lips? That loving way we use the mouth. Good. And bring your arms down. And now rest and sense the width of the nose, the width of the mouth, the cheeks. And for the whole lower part of the face, and maybe even the whole face, but particularly we've been working with the lower part of the face first. Sense of rest and ease in the face. And now sense your eyes. And squeeze your eyes tightly closed, like you're sucking the eyeballs into your eye sockets. And then let that go quickly. And now squeeze your eyes slowly closed, sucking them in, and let them go slowly so they unsqueeze slowly. What is the quality of that movement like? Now we can use our hands to support this. So if you bring your hands around your eye socket, so like your fingers are along the eyebrows and the thumbs are at the bottom on the top of the cheekbones. And when you squeeze your eyes shut, support it with your hands, support that. And then keep that support with the hands, relax the eyes, and then gently spread the eyebrows and the cheeks away from each other, but your lids stay closed. Right, so first you're squeezing, supporting the squeezing like we support muscle work. Let go of the muscle work in your eyes as much as you can, and then gently spread, make the fingers and the thumb go wider away from each other as you pull the eyebrows and the cheeks away, but your eyelids stay closed. So the eyelids are relaxed and closed. I'll try it a few times, very easy. Okay, and rest your eyes, rest your hands. Sense where the outside corners of your eyes are, right? We can, even without touching, I think everyone gets an immediate picture of where they are. That we're so aware of the place, the geography of the face. And take your hands to the outside corners with your eyes gently closed and just widen your eyes. And you can go from the cheekbone to the eye, to the eyebrows. So you're widening the eyes and you're making the distance between the eyes and the temples a little less. So you're just very gently pulling the eyes wide. Those muscles on the side of the eyes at the temples can just get a little bit of stimulation, relaxation. And gently pull the eyes towards your hairline. So you can slide your hands along that space as you just slide along. Temples are a place, right, that we get a lot of extra holding in. Just pulling that way. And you can feel the shape of the skull in that area. It's a little hollow where the muscle lives and sits. That's it. You might even want to do a few little circles in that area around the hollows of the temples. And then rest your hands. And each time we rest is a moment where you can feel the effect or the echo of the manipulation or the movement or the awareness of different parts of your face. And now think of your forehead. And use your hand now to support the forehead. So some fingers are on the hairline, the thumbs are on the eyebrows, and just shorten that distance, just like you would for shortening and supporting any muscles all along there. Shortening so that you end up actually kind of pulling your eyebrows up a little bit and pulling your hairline down a little bit. Just easy. And then you can also lift the eyebrows, support that contraction, and then let it go. So with your hands there, you lift the eyebrows, you support the contraction just like you do in other places, and then you let it go. And then now make some small circles, sticking your fingers to one part of your forehead. And see, can you slide the forehead, the skin of the forehead around? And when you do that, you can also notice if you feel anything into the skull. I've worked a lot with people who have had surgeries on their head. And what happens is all this congestion and stickiness and scarring happens, and there's no ability for the skin to slide around the skull. Your skin has to slide around so the muscles can function better, circulation can function better. And then with your hands just into your hair itself, just kind of circling, pressing, sliding your skin around your skull, right? The nicest head massage, using as much pressure as you feel comfortable with. Sometimes you can even like grab your hair a little bit by the roots and then use your hair to slide the skin around. There's no joint movement or very tiny bits. We don't really think that way, but there's all this skin and scalp movement. Okay, and then bring your hands down and rest. And bring your attention to your whole self. Coming from the legs, sweeping up the legs, sensing and feeling the legs, the pelvis, the chest and the back, shoulders, the neck, the head. And use your tongue now just to point. Take your tongue so it will come out of your mouth and it'll just point in the direction of your right hip. Then pull it in. And then point your tongue in the direction of your right knee and bring it in. And the right ankle and bring it in. And the toes. And pause a moment. And on the right side, we'll use the tongue now to connect this feeling of the whole self, to bring the tongue out towards the big toe on the right foot. And then start to move your tongue and imagine that you're licking in this zigzag pattern across the toes, the top of the foot, the ankle, the lower leg. Your tongue just going back and forth, gently painting or licking the knee, along the thigh, the hip joint. And when you get to the hip joint, you can stop. Bring your tongue back in and pause. And then the tongue, the same thing to the left. Point to your left hip, to the left knee, ankle. Just very gently, quickly, the toes. And then start to sweep your tongue along the left foot, like you're just brushing along the toes, zigzagging up along the foot, the dorsum of the foot, the ankle, the lower leg, the knee, the hip. Right, and after you've zigzagged with your tongue up to your hip joint, please stop. And now sense your pelvis. So from the one hip joint to the other, from the ACES, one ACES to the other ACES, from one side of the waist to the other. And with your tongue now, just very gently. It doesn't have to be out far, just a little bit. Let your tongue sweep across the width of your hip joints. And then move it up and sweep along the ACEs, and then the waist. Then across the lower part of the rib cage, and across the middle rib cage of the chest, across above the breasts, across the shoulders. And then you can continue that thinking of the tongue going inside the mouth. And then along the top of the palate, across the inside of the skull. The tongue just like a little flashlight, highlighting the width of the inner space of the skull. And when you've done that, or you're happy with that, just stop for a moment, pause. And now, would you roll over onto your front for a few moments? And you can have your head facing the floor, facing the earth. So you could make a little pillow with your hands to place your forehead on your hands, or if you want to put a little support under your forehead, anything that just allows you to let your face hang off the skull. And let everything in the face drape and drip towards the earth. So the eyes, you can feel the weight of the eyeballs. They drip towards the earth. The weight of the nose drips downward towards the earth. The mouth and the tongue can easily flow and drip down. The ears, everything, all of the musculature of the face, even from the back, widens and drips down. Notice how if you go down along the spine, think of the area along the spine widening and dripping down. In the middle part of the back, this sense of widening and everything being able to give up all the work to gravity. The lower back widening, falling down. From the sacrum, the sacrum able to widen and drip down towards the sides. The hip joints, the weight of the hip joints flowing down towards the earth. The thighs, the calves, the weight of the calves falling to the sides, the heels outward, flowing towards the earth. Everything just able to give up all of the work. And sense the movement of the breath in this position, the breath in the mouth, in the nose, the space of the cheeks, and the breath in the back. Please roll again onto your back slowly, comfortably. And that sense in the back of letting everything from the middle flow to the sides, widening the forehead, the eyes, the eyeballs, sliding to the sides, the outer corners of the eyes, the nose wide, the tongue and the mouth wide, the throat wide, the chest wide, the belly wide, the pelvis wide, the legs not holding, wide, allowing themselves to turn open a little bit, the knees, the feet, the ankles. And imagine now as you're breathing that the breath has this space to move everywhere within the volume of your skin. Thinking, imagining that as you breathe in, all of the skin responds. Everything fills a little bit and empties a little bit. And that brings us now to the end of this part of the lesson, so that I would invite you now to gradually and slowly move a little bit, come up, see how you feel in sitting and standing and walking. And you are in your home, so there's probably a mirror somewhere in your home you could go and just go with this sense of the face and see the effect of the Feldenkrais facelift, what your face expresses now, and then come back. So let's have like 3-minute break here and then come back.